already started. I'm waiting.
Hey,
All right,
what's going
hello.
on? It's World of Controversy podcast.
Oh,
we
yeah.
are here. I'm
Yes,
telling
we
you
are.
guys
Yes,
right
we
now, we are here. It's episode 14. I'm super excited. It's
Yes.
your brother Germ, Griffin, and we got Julian Rob on the track. Julian Rob, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little late today. I'm been all over the place. You know how it is, Rob. You know.
Oh, yes. We have two nice, beautiful guests for y'all today.
Great guests. I told y'all we were gonna get special guests today.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
I told them we were gonna get a special guest today.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Rob, what are we talking about today? And if our guests could maybe introduce themselves, that would be great, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? My name is Namara. What's up?
Hey, I'm Sanovia. That's who I am. Do y'all want more information, or
No,
we just kick it with
no.
the names? All right,
Namara
kicking
and
it with the names. Sanovia.
Namara and
Sorry, we both
Sanovia.
got different names, which I think is hilarious.
No, but it's good to have you two here on this podcast. You guys don't know how much of a blessing this is to come on this podcast, the World of Controversy podcast, where we talk about all forms of controversy on here.
Yes.
I love
Yes. And today's going to be a controversial episode. Episode 14. We never thought we were going to make it, but we are here. You can follow us at WOC_podcast on Instagram. You can follow me, Germ Twix, GERMTWIX, on Twitter. Rob?
This is J Rob right here. You can follow me on Instagram, Jaywizzle_.
Very good, very good. And our two Philly artists, where can they follow y'all?
You can follow me on Instagram at I am Sanovia. That's SANOVIA.
And you can follow me at I am Namara. I am NAMARAH.
And no relation between the two.
No,
right?
no, I knew he was about to go.
Yo,
I
what?
knew he was about to go there. Oh,
Yeah.
you're both light skinned. You both have locks, and you both have I am in front of your name.
Oh.
We're
No,
wearing
just
hats
kidding.
today, too. It was like,
Just kidding.
Oh,
But-
Oh, y'all do look alike.
Yeah, as soon as
I
y'all
knew it was
said
coming.
I am, I was
No,
like,
I'm
oh.
just playing
Well, we
with
do
y'all.
a lot of work together. We are best friends, so
Okay.
there's
Well,
that.
that's good.
So
yeah.
we do a lot of work together as well, which we'll probably tell y'all about as well. So,
Okay,
somewhere.
great.
In that.
Don't worry. Some people think me and my cohorts are brothers, so.
Oh, yeah.
If it don't make
Yeah, so you get it.
Ain't no one say that.
Oh.
man.
I think somebody did say that.
Ah, that was
got
you.
before.
Anyhow,
Yo, stop
He said,
playing.
hold up now.
Okay, see, this episode already getting crazy.
All right.
This episode's already getting crazy. Let me tell you guys what we're talking about. We're talking about Meek.
Oh.
We're talking about Meek. Everyone talking about Meek, but I want to defend Meek a little bit today. And we're talking about whether or not this man should have said what he said about Kobe Bryant. Was it too soon? Was it not soon enough? How controversial was it? Should we have canceled him? Should we not have? What are we talking about? Like,
All right. Here's the thing, man. Meek, what he said in his song about Kobe, I mean, it ain't nothing new. People always mention like a dead celebrity in their song, even though like, you know, Kobe was a year ago, but
January 26th.
Yeah.
Exactly.
but it's nothing new though. So I don't think we should cancel Meek just because of that one mention.
okay.
What was the? Can you remind me of what the mention was? What did Meek say exactly?
Hold on.
Anybody want
Rob's
I'll
gonna
have
pull
to-
it
I need
up.
I need the quote. I need the
the actual,
Yeah.
the actual
quote.
lyric.
Yeah.
I
Lyric.
got you.
That's what I need.
Yeah. So Lil Baby released a snippet and it features Meek. And the snippet, you know, nowadays I think they're maybe even less than 30 seconds. The snippet was part of Lil Baby's verse, and then I think it gets to the part Meek Mill's rap.
Mm-hmm.
And in the lyric, he mentions Kobe. You know, Rob.
Hold on, I'm looking for the verse.
What?
Okay, so she's reading it right now.
It's the reaction.
She's reading it right now. Can you read it out loud?
Okay. In the track, Mill raps. This B, I'm not gonna cuss on y'all's podcast here.
Very good.
This B, I'm effing, always tells me that she love me, but she ain't ever showed me. Yeah, and if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It be another Kobe.
Dang.
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
And if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It'd be another Kobe.
I don't understand why that line was necessary.
Wait, what he lacking?
I think he's referring to the ops. The ops getting him if he lacking. Like, oh, I caught him lacking. I caught this boy lacking. Then the ops gonna get you. I don't know.
But he's talking about, it's in the context of him
With a
effing another girl.
Yeah.
And he said, if I ever lack, I go out in my chopper, I'd be another Kobe.
Yeah.
So like is he trying to refer to, and call me silver lining Novi sometimes, but is he trying to refer to?
I don't see it. I don't see the silver
No.
lining.
Is he trying to refer to he's just exiting the situation with said young woman because he's lacking in that I don't.
I think that even when I was listening to the Joey Budden podcast, it's very clear to me that the first bar has absolutely nothing to do with the second
there's
bar.
no context.
Okay, that's what I
Except for the
think.
fact
There's
that
no
they rhyme.
context.
Except
So-
Except for the fact that they rhyme,
So-
and that's horrible.
Yeah.
So again, I have my feelings about cancel culture,
I do too.
and that's like a whole other conversation that we might be able to go to later. But it's just like common sense that there are certain things like I feel like the line and the choice to use that line looks like something that I would see more in like a not saying battle rap culture,
Right.
but it's like you just take in what you can to throw in that it's not necessary. For me, my thought process is if you have to always use shock value to come and create some beat that's fire because you didn't know the line, just sit down and just wait for a better line to come. Don't just like it's like I don't understand why we have to run with the thing that maybe seems what's the word I'm looking for? Appropriate to the timeline. Just because it's pop culture doesn't mean it needs to be a pop reference.
Exactly. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Snaps, my friend.
That's a really good
I
point.
like how you put that.
Interesting. Rob, what was your first reaction when you heard that though?
My first reaction when I heard this, I'm like, cause I heard it off of Instagram. I'm gonna keep it real. Everybody off of Instagram, I heard people was going in on it. I'm like, I was first like with them, and then I was like, nah, people do this all the time. And then I was talking to one of my boys, and he said somebody else, another rapper, mentioned Kobe in their verse, and nobody went off on them.
Interesting.
Who's the other rapper? Do we know who this other rapper was and what the line was?
Right.
I forgot.
I also just wonder, is it just the timeliness of it? Because it's literally just past the 1 year anniversary. You're right. It's just too, some things are just too soon. Not saying that he couldn't have said this 5 years from now or maybe even 2 years from now. But first off, we're still living amidst COVID, which means everybody is still we all still sensitive about a whole bunch of things. And Kobe happened at the pretty much right before COVID.
Yes.
Hit us about a month later. So I'm just wondering if it's really just a timely, is it really a poor taste of words, or is it just it's out of time?
Right.
you needed to wait another year for that meet.
You
or
could
whatever it is.
have just written something else.
Right.
Or that, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to give them an excuse, but again, I'm just are people more sensitive about it because literally January 26th was five minutes ago. I mean, I'm being dramatic, but it was 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Well,
It was
can I
yesterday.
say, when we had other artists that passed, and there were songs mentioned about them years later, a year later or whatever, nobody was really that sensitive before, in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that it's necessary to reference people's personal lives and art, unless the
But
person.
here's the thing:
Like,
it's not even about him
when
dying
it's not your story,
or passing away.
sure.
It's about you talked about the way he a helicopter,
Right. Yeah.
and
Also the way
that's
that
just
the
simply in
person
poor
goes.
taste.
Mhm.
In reality. I think you, to your point, yes, you can talk about somebody who passed away, you can talk about an artist, you can mention them, maybe make a little joke or whatever it is. But if you're literally talking about, first off, what we know to be an accidental helicopter crash,
Yeah.
He said, "Uh-oh." I don't know why he said
controversy
You
there.
want to get that controversy started, Rob, early?
Oh,
Go ahead.
we ain't gonna go there on this episode. That's another episode.
Do we have time for it? Do we have time for it? I said what we're talking about as a. That's why I put it in.
I mean, allegedly it was accidental. I mean,
but why do we every time? I feel like every time somebody big passes away, we always put allegedly in front of it, like it's an act. Everything was purpose.
Well, you also know that
these
folks always like to have the conspiracy theories, though. You know, we got conspiracy.
I feel like we got somebody back here. I feel like he got plenty of words to say.
Right.
He has plenty of words to say. I know he does.
So we got another guest in the building.
Do you want to see?
We got.
Yeah, he said yes.
Y'all, you mind him sitting here?
I would love for him to sit here.
That was a whole hard nod.
I know he has things to say.
So we got someone else in the studio. I told y'all this was a guest, a special guest, a special episode. You know what I mean? Brother, what's your name and what you got to say?
My name is Tracy with Tracy Shot Me, and the things you guys touched on with the Kobe, I think it falls on, just think about the individual.
Okay.
So people have a respect for Kobe on another level, as opposed to if you make a joke about, let's say Rick James passing or something like that, or OJ, or someone that's not up there, because we got people throwing Kobe shots in the trash can.
Yeah.
So, and he's loved all around the world. So I think that plays a factor in everyone's reaction to Kobe's in this rap. So.
Yeah.
No Meek hate whatsoever in the internet outrage. You don't think there's any type of Meek, anti-Meek hate?
Oh, I got something to say about that.
I mean, there's always going to be anti.
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
And Meek has been getting a lot of backlash since that whole 6ix9ine incident when they met up.
Right.
Everything.
I mean, was it the right conditions or was it just the bar? That's maybe that's how I need to ask that.
Well, think about this. Say if Drake said the same thing, he would still get the same heat. I think regardless, either 6ix9ine, Meek Mill, Drake, if they say something in regards to Kobe, where most people hold him to this standard, that's where it comes in. Hey, you tread on thin water. The black community protects certain individuals, and Kobe's one of those individuals. So.
Right. Wow. So there is gatekeeping in hip hop. Yeah. Okay. All right. So as a Philly artist, what do you have to say about fellow Philly artists, like speaking? I mean, not the truth, obviously, but speaking their mind on a media that they've always been speaking, and like people actually getting mad about that, because this isn't new for Meek Mills. He actually released Burn on 11 years after 9/11. Remember that song with Big Sean, Let That Burn, Let That
that's
Burn. That was released on September 11th, 2012.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been doing this for a while. So as a Philly artist, what do you have to say?
Well, I don't want to ever speak for all Philly artists because I'm just me. But at the end of the day, artistry and just being a writer there's always some level of controversy that's going to be at stake, right? Like I've been told that I'm controversial because the music that I'm writing isn't necessarily gospel, and it's not necessarily CCM, and it's not necessarily like R&B. Like, where does it actually fit? And somehow that's controversial to somebody. They're like, well, you can't call it gospel music. It's like, okay, that's fine. But at the same time, I'm not changing, right? So there's a certain level of behavior that any artist, like, once they decide, like, that's who they're going to be, then you expect them to be consistent with who they are, you know? But at the same time, I can't help but liken it to, we have a lot of different culture references with Kanye and how he will say things, and and he has a history of being controversial, and we still talk about him. We still listen to his music. We still rock his wear. He's still popular in conversation. Like, you know, we have these different mixed standards depending on what it is we do pick and choose.
Yes, we do.
We definitely pick and choose.
And she pointed out a couple of great things that I wanted to say is it's about marketing as well. You think Kanye does some crazy stuff around when the album release is about to come out,
Yes.
and if you look at his history when it comes to like the beef with what was it, Jay-Z, or when it comes to he had of course the Taylor Swift stuff, 50 Cent, like it's all like marketing, you know. So it's part of the game, and also thinking about identity when it comes to music. What was it? Who was the country guy at the Old Town Road?
Lil Nas X?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then the country music crowd was like, that's not country.
You can't do that.
Yeah, so like when you start to identify and you coming out with a different, a different perspective within that genre, that's when that controversy comes, like Namarah was saying. So it's those are two things that she pointed out. Yeah, she's on point.
People are always going to stir the pot, and there's always going to be a pocket of people who are going to be upset. And it's, for musicians, I feel like musicians will always get the flack for it, regardless of what the content is.
Wow.
Because if you see a visual artist who's doing performance art, we're going to say, oh, that's really deep. Let's have a discourse about it. Like, let's really, really talk about it. But if a musician, especially if they're mainstream and they're doing pop culture, like, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you say this thing?
Absolutely. Wow. Episode 14, y'all. We got some really good guests. We're talking about Meek Mill and Kobe Bryant. I'm telling you, I thought about this, and it's funny because my initial reaction was someone calling me. I'm not on Instagram all week, but someone called me who was a Kobe fan, who is another Philly artist, and he's like, yo, the internet really chopping Meek up and stuff. It's crazy, you know. He just, you know, and we both agreed. We made the statement. I don't know if you both are natives to Philly, all of y'all are natives, but we said this is kind of like regular Joe Schmo Philly speaking almost. And I think me and Rob actually also agreed that we could hear this stuff just spoken on almost like local tracks. And we already know Meek Mill comes from the deep underground battle rap scene of Philadelphia, so nothing about this was really alarming to me. Nothing was out of character for him, and I just thought, you know, and again, we just had the N-word episode, but I'm gonna say it. This isn't like any Philly nigga, as some people would say. Some people would use that term. It sounds like any Philly nigga, and that's something to say. I don't like saying it like that, but it's almost like any black male from Philly would have said almost something very similar. Now, they would have got some slack from like the crew they're with, but at the same time, yeah, this almost would have flew like with no type of
It's what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
It's happening it's the music that people are saying when they're just chopping it up in the jam studio.
Okay, right.
Like you're just like, you're hearing like, okay, yeah, like this is okay, I'm laughing at, or not laughing, not particular in that line, but just like this is what I'm gonna just pull from.
Right.
But my there's a certain level of standard that you have when you are influencing more than just your Philly crew.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Meek has transcended just the Philly community.
Right.
He's not just a Philly artist anymore.
Right.
And so when you recognize that that's the new playing field, the rules are going to change a little bit. And you have to be, and like everybody is cognizant of that. Like you can't act like you don't know.
Right.
You know, like you can't just say, oh, well, this is what my crew here, and like they understand this is my vernacular. It's like, no, you have a larger responsibility now. You have a larger a larger community that you speak to, that you're influencing, that people are riding for you, like putting their money behind you, like really really supporting you. And it's like the marketing aspect is like, okay, my constituents, right, getting political, but my constituents are like here supporting me, and so they're going to have something to say.
Right. Exactly.
You got to just be okay with that, though.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. That's very true. Rob, you got something you want to say?
I just want to say that, man, this whole Meek Mill's thing, I think it's crazy how everybody's like taking it. But I do understand, like we all still mourning the death of Kobe, which was like January of last year. And I respect Kobe. I respect Meek. I know Meek didn't really like try to be disrespectful with it. I also know how Kobe's wife did say something about it too.
Yeah. I wanted to hop in on that a little bit.
she did tweet it at Meek. Now
She
she came out respectfully, and she has the right to say what she said too. She didn't appreciate Meek mentioning Kobe in her line. I mean, she lost her husband, so she has the right to say she didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the number one person. She is the number one person that could say that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody could, right.
Mm-hmm. You can read what she said.
Okay, I just was trying to like read the eye contact over here. So I was like, all right, cool. So this is what Vanessa put. She was like, "Dear Meek, I find this line to be extremely insensitive and disrespectful, period. I am not familiar with any of your music, but I believe that you can do better than this." And then she continues to write, "If you are a fan, fine. There's a better way to show your admiration for my husband. This lacks respect and tact."
Interesting.
Now, she has the right, as she is grieving, and she not only just lost her husband, but she lost her daughter. She lost her daughter. Even if she came disrespectful, it would still be understandable because she is grieving, and that is part of the grieving process. So,
right.
That's a whole different thing of just losing maybe a husband or just even it was just a daughter. But she lost both in one day. I can't even imagine like being in that type of like position if I lost my wife and my son or daughter. I think I would go crazy. And on top of having to raise the other children that they had, like she's also hurting, but she has to be strong for them. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah, on that, I mean, she's in a position like because she's the wife of Kobe, in a sense protecting his legacy. So the things about that are said negatively about him on the mainstream, her protecting it is her duty as a wife. So I mean, I respect everything that she said, and I think she definitely comes from a position that I agree with. So it's in poor taste for someone that we respect, like I was saying earlier. And I support what her comment is. So.
Right. Now, what did you guys think about Meek's comments? Because Meek went to Instagram or Twitter, and they were like, "Listen,
bro, I'm about to go on this Meek's comment. I got it right here.
What'd he say, bro?
He says, somebody promote a narrative and y'all follow it. Y'all internet antics cannot stop me. Shit like Zombieland or something. LOL. Sorry for the cursing though.
Okay, so it's like a Zombieland out here, man. We should have got him on Word Controversy. He sound like us, man. So, no. Okay, so what you think? I mean, again, not out of character for him, but I mean, is he wrong? No, he's not wrong. If everyone's telling you this is too early, should that be your first reaction? Some people may say no. It's an interesting take, but I gotta appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, it almost sounded like me. I think I helped him with the tweet. I helped him with that. He went to my DMs and like, Germ, help me with this one. They're on my backs, you know what I mean? But it's an interesting thing. He holds his ground. I don't know if this line is gonna be in the song when it releases. Someone said they may pull the line out. No, that might be a good move, meaning that it was for media attention, which is doing its job. You know what I mean? We already know about the Cardi B Offset divorce and how literally that was for media attention. Like literally, that was for nothing but to sell records. There was no way they were getting divorced. They weren't even talking about it. They got back within less than 2 months. So, they're doing anything just to sell records at this point.
But let me ask you, correct me if I'm wrong. When I came in, did you say you were going to defend me? Or was that? I'm just double checking. I thought that's what I heard when I walked in. So if you were going to do that, I wanted to hear that perspective. I just wanted to hear that. Sorry, I came in kind of late, y'all.
A world of controversy?
Here we go.
Episode 14.
We come with the controversy on here.
World of Controversy, episode 14. Listen, you know what? We got a good 10 minutes left. We're really chilling. We got some really good guests. We actually got 3 guests. This is the most amount of guests we've had in a while. And I'm super excited. We're talking Philly. We're talking Meek. We're talking Kobe. I want to bring something to you guys' attention too. Some of the most controversial rap lyrics ever. Now, Rick Ross done put a date rape bar in his rap. I don't know if y'all remember that. He was featured on Rocky's song. You know it. Something.
He got in trouble.
He did get in trouble, but he never got canceled. So, and we already know comedians, I don't want to get him started on comedians, but comedians say stuff all the time. I feel like hip-hop artists are almost on the comedic level where we're letting them say whatever. We already know I'm going to keep it a buck. Some stuff that our hip-hop artists today are saying about women, and I'm glad we got some female guests in there. Some of y'all wouldn't even let your boyfriend say this stuff to you. And I'm telling the truth. Let alone a crush, let alone a guy from work, let alone anybody on your block. So how are you letting these national artists make tons of money? People like NBA Youngboy, people like, I could go down a list. Thug, well, actually not Thug, Future. Future has
names though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's not get on those names. It's a lot involved. Names and also the culture and breeding this type of content that comes from the top down. I mean, think about it. If I'm an employer and I want to bring on said artists, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, make sure that I sell, and also I'm polluting this particular community with the content that's going to keep them in a position that doesn't allow them to progress.
And also who's buying those records?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, who's buying it?
Oh, I mean, majority of
the people.
That's what I thought you were going with that. A majority of them are Caucasian, right?
Like we can say white people. If we can see black
Yeah,
people,
well, you can say
white people. Like, come on, y'all.
You ain't getting canceled on here, okay?
Like,
So
I'm also not afraid of getting canceled. Like, okay.
Okay.
Like,
wow, you're in the right place then.
I'm
don't worry, if they come at you, I'll protect you, all right?
It's too early in my career to get canceled.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you guys. A lot of suburban white kids are buying hip hop. A lot of Caucasian people in general. Nothing wrong with it, but I do want to clarify: black people are buying it too. Black people are listening to it too, and a lot of this stuff has horrible mantras. I always bring up the mantras thing when it comes to hip hop because I do believe in speaking stuff into existence. Some of this stuff is ridiculous that we listen to. The choruses back and forth in your head. I find it disturbing, some of the stuff I've heard, some of the negatives. So what are we going to do about this? Do we need to just cancel hip-hop?
No. So, I mean...
But you agree with me. Maybe we should just cancel hip-hop.
Okay, so then, like, what about Common? What about Kendrick? What about, like... Erykah Badu, what about Scott? What about all of these other artists that exist outside of exactly? There are so like you can't just cancel a whole culture because there is a large majority of focus on, you know, mumble rap, gangster rap, all of this these subjects are not the only subjects that make up hip hop. Actually, hip hop is not
the dominant though.
Right, it's the dominant, but the thing is, if you go back to like what the history of hip hop was, it was not about that. So it was like hip hop culture was not about that. Right. But I'm gonna let.
No. I wasn't. The only thing I was gonna say, I had a couple things earlier, but I'm not gonna bring. I'm going back to the Meek thing. But I just feel like it's at the end of the day, it is the dominant culture, and like to his point, saying like, okay, it sounds like we need to cancel hip hop. It's almost like you have to do a whole reframing and reworking, which who's actually putting in the time to reframe and rework hip hop? Like who's gonna, because you almost have to go to every single person to say, hey, we as a people, people are already doing it. I feel like for black people, we're trying to be like, yo, we need to change. We need to do more unity type work. We need to do more black economic type work. We need to listen to different things. the society or the industry is trying to make us polluted. But who's listening? So
my thing
that's
is,
my thing.
My thing is that I get really annoyed when it's like we even say things like it's the dominant culture, because the thing is like, what are you looking at? Because if you're looking at something, you're only going to see that area that you're focusing on, and this is the dominant culture. And if my gaze is only focused this way, that means I can't even fathom the other entire universe that is thriving and already has a nice culture and already understands how to practice like healthy conscious rap, already understands how to create art that consumes and inspires people to be more progressive, to be more community centered, to be more I
feel like we're just so nearsighted though. Like it's like, what are you being fed? You know, at the end of the day, what is being, and I think Tracy has talked about this before, just like what is actually being put in your face is usually what you're going to consume the most. So if J. Cole's not in the front, if Kendrick or certain, maybe certain Kendrick songs are going to be more elevated than others. Yeah. But if you're putting certain things in people's faces, I do understand that there's like this wide range of what we can listen to. Yeah. But in reality, all we have is what is being put in front of us to consume. We take that, and then we can either try to dig deeper, because I'm the type of person who loves to listen to underground type stuff. Like I like to find the indie artists that nobody knows about, and I'm always putting people on indie artists because I try not to always listen to the dominant culture, because I want to create my own way of listening. But yeah, I just literally thought of prison in my mind. That's what I saw was prison, and that you only get to eat what they're going to give you. You don't get to go and pick your food. Like so here it is. You're stuck here. Here's the music that we're giving you. Here's the sound that we're giving you to consume. And unfortunately, most of our people are on the front lines of listening and consuming that, and they don't ever dive deeper into what else we have to offer, because they don't have the opportunity either.
Yeah, and to say it's by design, because what happens is you got the Kendrick and the J. Cole's, but they're few and far between. And what the design of the whole thing is to saturate the market with all the Bibby Bobby and all that stuff that we hear. Yeah. So those individuals get drowned, and they can put out a lot more content, and they're oversaturating it, so where you're always going to hear them first, and then you got to dig to find J. Cole and stuff like that. And that's what happens. That's how you drown that conscious rap, because that's always been what's been the transition from the executives that own these record labels. And what we do is have that independent artist own his masters, and then we support it. That's the change in the dynamic of the whole thing.
Interesting.
Is the independent. Now it's not an easy route, but the route is independent artists, us supporting those independent artists. That way we can control the narrative and support what we want to listen to, what we want to put out, and not be controlled by the employer that owns the record labels that says we're going to saturate the market with this crap.
Right. I absolutely agree.
I have some interesting news though. Before we end this, I found out Meek actually apologized to
privately. Not publicly.
Not publicly, but he had apologized. So he deserves some respect for that.
Well, I told him to do that.
No, you did.
When you draw as hard as I do, you know how to apologize to people, okay?
First of all, Meek got some respect for Kobe.
He do.
As everybody does. So
unlike
when
me,
the wife of a legendary star like that comes to you about something you say, you are going to apologize.
Right. Absolutely. And I do respect Kobe as a person. So we're about to finish it up, but we got 3 really good people, creatives, artists, and I want them to get the last word on this episode. So if they could just say their Instagram name, where they can follow y'all at, and just tell us the last word. We're gonna finish it off here. Tell us about yourselves, where people can follow you at.
So my name is Tracy. You can follow me on Instagram at TracyShotMe.com. That's TRACY shot me. On Instagram, I'm new to Philly. I'm from Georgia, and I love the creativity that's here. And I see myself engaging with podcasts and YouTube going forward. So hey, look me up, and thank you for allowing me to come to speak.
And I am Sanovia. You can follow me at I am Sanovia, SANOVIA. You can also follow me at imsanovia.com. And the last word I have for you is you have everything you need, so go and be great. All right.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
I like that.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, my name is Namara. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Namara, and that's Namarah. And my last word is actually to let you guys know that Sanovia and I are putting together a benefit concert for Dolores White. It's called Sing for Her. That happens March 14th at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we are raising funds to support Dolores White, who is facing some really nasty charges in the midst of domestic abuse violence. So if you want to find out more about that, just follow Sanovia and myself on Instagram, and you can get more information by clicking the link in our bios.
All right. Thank you, guys. This is the Word of Controversy. We are out. See you next time. Amen.